In a land far away, where rolling hills kissed the sky and rivers whispered secrets, a grand wedding was being prepared. The bride, Alara, was known throughout the kingdom for her beauty and gentle spirit. Her laughter was like music, and her kindness like a balm to all who knew her. She was to marry Cale, a man of strength and honor, who had fought many battles and won the hearts of the people with his bravery and wisdom. The day of the wedding dawned with a golden sunrise, painting the sky in hues of orange and pink. The entire kingdom was abuzz with excitement, as this was not just any wedding, it was the union of two souls who seemed perfectly matched. The palace gardens had been transformed into a paradise of blooming flowers and twinkling lights, and guests from every corner of the realm had gathered to witness the union. Alara stood in her chamber, gazing at her reflection in the mirror. Her gown, a masterpiece of intricate lace and shimmering silk, flowed around her like a waterfall of moonlight. Her heart beat with a mixture of joy and nervous anticipation. She had dreamed of this day for so long, and now it was finally here. As the time for the ceremony drew near, Cale stood in a quiet room at the edge of the palace, far from the noise and celebration. His closest friend, Alden, noticed the unease in his eyes. "Cale, what troubles you?" Alden asked, concern etched on his face. Cale hesitated, his brow furrowed in thought. "I don't know, Alden. I should be happy, but something inside me feels wrong." Alden placed a hand on his friend's shoulder. "It's just nerves, Cale. You're about to take a big step. But you love Alara, and she loves you. You've been waiting for this day." Cale nodded, trying to shake off the unease, but the feeling persisted, growing stronger with each passing moment. As he stood there, a realization began to take shape, a truth that he had been denying for too long. He loved Alara, but not in the way a husband should love his wife. Their bond was one of deep friendship, not the burning passion he had always imagined would define his marriage. The weight of this truth crushed him. He couldn't go through with the wedding, not when he knew he could never give Alara the love she deserved. With a heavy heart, Cale made his decision. He turned to Alden, his voice barely a whisper. "I can't marry her." Alden stared at him in shock, understanding dawning in his eyes. "Cale, are you sure?" "I'm sure," Cale replied, his voice trembling with the gravity of what he was about to do. "I love her too much to tie her to a life without true love." As the guests gathered in the garden and the music began to play, Alara waited at the altar, her heart full of hope. But as the minutes passed, whispers began to ripple through the crowd. Cale was nowhere to be seen. Finally, Alden approached Alara, his face pale, eyes filled with sorrow. He handed her a letter, sealed with Cale's crest. With trembling hands, Alara opened it and read the words that shattered her heart. "Dearest Alara, I cannot be the man you deserve, and I cannot lie to you by standing at that altar. You deserve a love that consumes you, a love that I cannot give. Forgive me for leaving, but I do it because I love you too much to bind you to a life that is less than what you deserve. Cale." Tears filled Alara's eyes as she crumpled the letter in her hand. She knew Cale's words were true, but it didn't lessen the pain. She turned away from the altar, the weight of the crown she never wore feeling heavier than ever. And so, in a land where dreams and reality often danced together, a love story ended before it truly began, leaving behind the bittersweet memory of what could have been.